Think back to your first days at Drexel. You arrived with a sense of excitement and hope, ready to grow as a student and a scholar, anxious to make an impact in the world. You've accomplished so much during your time here. You've explored boundaries, challenged conventions, gained amazing professional experiences, and pushed beyond all expectations. You took advantage of everything that came your way, never losing sight of your ultimate goal. Then, the world changed. And it changed everything. But even this became an opportunity to showcase your strength and drive to succeed. Instead of falling back and letting circumstance derail you, you found new ways to push forward, channeling all of your skills and ambition to find innovative solutions, forging new paths that serve to guide those around you. You are members of a truly historic class, one that faced down adversity and illustrated for the world how passion, talent, and commitment can overcome any challenge. The feeling of pride you've instilled within us could never be overstated. You have shown that you will not be intimidated, and you cannot be swayed. Now, more than ever, you are uniquely prepared to shape a brighter tomorrow, and we can't wait to see the amazing things you'll do in the years ahead. But today, on this truly momentous occasion, we celebrate all that you have done during your time here, and we stand together to congratulate you, the class of 2020, and officially welcome you as Drexel alumni. You are now forever Dragons, and we salute you. We acknowledge the pressing need in our society to address the issues of police brutality and institutional racism. Drexel University remains committed to addressing these issues of social justice as we continue the difficult but necessary work of making our own campus community a more inclusive and welcoming environment for all students, faculty, and professional staff. All of us at Drexel stand together in support of our communities of color and join those peacefully working to actively address the racism, inequities, and injustices that continue to plague our society. Before beginning to truly celebrate you, the Drexel Class of 2020, let us take a moment of silence to honor the memory of all Black lives lost to this senseless and systematic violence.
Good evening and welcome everyone. This is always such a proud moment for the Drexel community. I know I speak for our entire community in congratulating the great class of 2020 and in welcoming your family and friends joining us today. Just a few years ago, we made history by holding Drexel's first university-wide commencement in decades. The venue was Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies' home field. And that's where we'd be gathering tonight under normal circumstances. But normal has become a rare commodity since the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. So tonight, we're making history again with our first ever virtual graduation celebration. I'd like to thank the many people whose expertise and hard work have made this possible. But I confess to having some reservations about the word virtual. In the digital world especially, virtual means a synthesized or simulated reality. But there is nothing synthesized about the hard work and discipline you have all invested in earning the degrees we celebrate tonight. There is nothing simulated about the pride felt by your parents and family and friends. And there is certainly nothing synthesized about the gratitude I feel for the way the class of 2020, along with all of our students, faculty, and professional staff, responded to the COVID-19 challenge. Making the sudden switch to remote learning for the last mile of your academic journey was a significant and I know painful adjustment. While I'm gratified at how well you've handled this challenge, I'm not at all surprised. When Drexel is confronted with big challenges, we don't throw up our hands. We roll up our sleeves to look for solutions. Your appetite for challenges as students, and now as graduates, will be a priceless asset in the years ahead. Because as serious as the pandemic challenge is in itself, it spotlights even greater challenges. The impact of the coronavirus on the United States has been intensified by the inconsistency of our healthcare system and the legacy of institutional racism that has disproportionately burdened the African American community and other communities of color. Our national response to the coronavirus has been hampered by the vitriolic nature of our political system and a distressing lack of respect for science. Even as we work towards reopening our country and rebuilding the economy, we have been swept up in the anger and protests sparked by the tragic death of George Floyd in Minneapolis police custody. These protests surely can't surprise, but they have, finally, led to the painful recognition that our country has too long ignored the ample evidence before it. The virus of institutionalized racism still infects American society, and this virus won't be eliminated by a new vaccine. And that's where you come in. The history of racism in this country, which eats at our democracy and undermines our national talents, will only be cured through the collective resolve of all Americans to change both individual and institutional behavior. Getting us to that place will require honesty, leadership, and a commitment from your generation. As so often happens in history, you have inherited a problem you had no hand in creating, but which you must and will take the lead in solving. My confidence in saying that reflects my confidence in this graduating class. It has been said, wisely, that the success of our society and our democracy rests upon our willingness to think of each other and not only ourselves. My hope and expectation is that you will embrace this principle, that you will step up in your communities, that you will take on the solemn responsibility of leadership. You are uniquely qualified to take on this special role. Your academic achievements have been combined with a tradition of civic engagement that goes to the heart of Drexel's identity, a tradition so many of you have embraced directly. Mark Twain advised that the secret to getting ahead is getting started. Your years at Drexel have already gotten you started with experience in your chosen professional fields and experience in being active citizens of the world. These are uncertain times in many ways, but I feel so much more confident about our future simply by knowing that you, our graduates, will be part of it. Congratulations and good luck.
Hello and welcome. I'm Mckendry. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of Drexel University, I want to congratulate all of our graduates. You are unique in so many ways, and now you share in this incredible, historic moment for the entire class of 2020 and in this global challenge faced by all of humankind. Even so, we celebrate as always. You deserve it. As trustees, we take enormous pride in every graduating class. Each year, we come away inspired and renewed in our determination to keep this great university at the forefront of higher education. Your years of learning at Drexel have been especially noteworthy for your high academic achievement, use-inspired research, global engagement, entrepreneurship, and for embracing solutions to community challenges around campuses, around our neighborhoods. The many great qualities that make Drexel stand out as a university are the result of your scholarship, your dedication, and your hard work. I'm a proud Drexel Dragon, as you may know. I was forever changed by my experiences at this university, and I'm honored to serve now as a trustee. I encourage all of you to reach for the stars, but join me in keeping a hold of your roots. It's the duty of our Board of Trustees to serve as guardians for the university's quality and reputation so that your degree becomes an even more valued and cherished asset as the years go by. I pledge to uphold that duty. Thank you. Good luck and congratulations, graduates. You did it.
Congratulations to the class of 2020 and to everyone who helped each of you reach this milestone. We are so proud of all you have achieved during your years at Drexel, in the classroom, in your careers, and your personal development. Normally, your graduation would be accompanied by a ceremony we call commencement, because this is a beginning, not an ending. And I do hope that each of you will return in your cap and gown next June to join us for the commencement you truly deserve. But this is some time away, and your life's next chapter begins now. My youngest son graduated from high school this year, so I can imagine a bit how you might all be feeling right now. A complicated mix of pride, excitement, fear, frustration, gratitude, and anticipation. As you think about it, I hope you recognize that no matter what you may be feeling, the future you make will grow organically from your time at Drexel. You form enduring bonds with friends, hopefully many of them much different from yourself. You found mentors in faculty and staff. Through hard work and experience, you've learned to think critically, to design, analyze, measure, and develop solutions. You have learned to question and to seek answers, and that is the key to everything. This is an extraordinary moment in your lives and in all of our lives. You have helped to write a new chapter in the story of humankind. This story is not written alone. You belong to a network, a community of dragons. Those bonds are strong, and you should not hesitate to call upon them, for you will need to work together to do the important work ahead. I want you to know that we all share in the disappointment that your senior experience was curtailed. But I do believe in your resilience and optimism, your agility. And I know this moment is shaping you in ways you can't even yet imagine. At a minimum, this shared experience has tethered a bond between all of you, a special kinship and connection that is entirely unique. Looking ahead, be assured of one thing. The world you are about to enter, just like the university community you are leaving, will be shaped by your thoughts and deeds and dreams. You have the power to imagine new ideas and help make them a reality. I have great hopes for the class of 2020. And there is no doubt in my mind that you will continue to make us all very, very proud. Once again, congratulations.
My first tour at Drexel, I had the brilliant idea of wearing 3-inch heels for the entire day because of my 5'3" frame. But I quickly realized my mistake when we took what felt like the most excruciating uphill trek to the freshman residence halls. Needless to say, when I committed to Drexel, I ditched the shoes. We all remember our first steps on campus and in Philadelphia, and maybe even our mid-steps, like co-op, events, the first Eagles Super Bowl victory, hurried walks across campus. And now, abruptly, we've come to our final ones. We aren't in Citizens Bank Park, but the pandemic doesn't take away what this moment means, the persistence it took to get to this point. It doesn't take away the obstacles we've overcome, the degree we've earned, the memories we've made, and most importantly, the community we've grown. Think about the amazing Dragon support network you've created of friends and family, faculty, administrators, and co-op colleagues. But what does our future hold? We enter an uncertain and divisive country. The pandemic has bubbled up fissures in our society that have long existed. So what can we do? Speak up. I urge you to use your ambition you've shown here to be leaders in your industries and in your communities. I urge you to take your unique stories of resilience that include yet another adversity, to be an advocate and ally for those around you. Let's not lose focus of what we learned at Drexel that is so valuable. Not just how to adapt to a fast-paced quarter system and even faster changing world, but from the spirit of the city of brotherly love itself, how to care for each other and how to look out for each other. We are the future. I'm honored to have served as your student body president, and I am so proud to be a part of this graduating class of 2020. Forever Dragons.
Hello everyone, my name is Guillermo Recalde. I'm the Vice President for Academic Affairs of the Graduate Student Association. First of all, congratulations graduates. Today is a very special day for all of us. We get to celebrate our failures, our accomplishments, and our grit. Although this year's celebration is slightly different than what we hoped, we're all in this together, with our classmates, our families, and friends. Rest assured, the next years we will have double the fun when we get to celebrate with the next graduating class. On behalf of the Graduate Student Association and myself, I would like to congratulate each and every one of you as we graduate from Drexel this year. Thank you.
Class of 2020, parents, faculty, President Fry, thank you very much for inviting me to be your speaker at Drexel's first ever virtual graduation ceremony. Back in January, when President Fry invited me to speak to you, I visualized a crowd of 15,000 people at Citizens Bank Park, and that, I admit, was a daunting prospect. So I know there are thousands of you Drexel Dragons observing from around the nation and around the region. So first and foremost, I want to say congratulations. You did it. If we were all together, I would ask everyone to give yourselves, and especially your parents, a hearty round of applause. But since we're only together virtually, I have to say, savor the occasion. What your class, the class of 2020, has experienced is unprecedented. The challenges you've confronted in the last 3 months are formidable and historic. The coronavirus crisis, which has engulfed the globe. The escalating ranks of unemployment, the worst since the Great Depression of the 1930s. And in recent weeks, the violence and destruction that has raged in our major cities in the aftermath of the tragic death of George Floyd at the hands of the Minneapolis police force. But in each of these traumas, there has also been hope and opportunity, and it's important to remember that and focus on it. There's the heroic work of our doctors, nurses, and medical personnel striving to save the lives of the stricken. The billions of dollars poured into local government and to extend jobless benefits to cushion the blow of the economic downturn. And finally, the legions of good citizens brandishing their brooms to help clean the streets of our cities, such as here in Philadelphia, of the debris and wreckage left by the looters. In talking with you today, I have three themes. First, the enduring importance of your Drexel education. Second, the importance of finding a mentor, someone whose achievements and values you aspire to emulate in your first job and all jobs thereafter. And last but not least, the importance of public service, giving back to your community and your school. In thinking about Drexel, I spoke with several alumni, and I want to share, briefly, what I learned about the lifelong value of their years here at Drexel. First, developer Carl Dranoff, class of 1970. Carl was one of Philadelphia's premier residential developers. His projects, both new and historic rehabilitations, distinguished the streets of our city. When Carl was 11 years old, his father gave him a set of HO trains, and he began constructing little cities for the trains to traverse. He was, in his words, the master of the city. By the time he arrived at Drexel, he was already passionate about building. Carl loved his engineering courses. Even today, 50 years later, he can explain with ardor and precision what he learned from his concrete professor, Richard Woodring, and what he learned from his steel professor, Bernie McNamee. He says the two professors, and I quote, taught me how buildings are put together. Decades after taking their classes, Dranoff invited his two professors to every grand opening that he hosted for his new projects. In terms of giving back, among his many public service activities, Carl was a trustee here at Drexel for a decade. Then there's Patty Ambisi, class of 1969. Patty was a partner in one of the region's largest cable companies. When Patty reflects on her years at Drexel, she remembers the rigor of her courses and the professionalism not only of her professors, but also her students. That experience gave her the discipline and self-confidence to meet the challenges that awaited her. In her very first job after Drexel, teaching at St. Aloysius Academy in suburban Philadelphia, even though she'd never taken a single education course, she persuaded a nun to work with her to create the school's first Montessori program. Her years at Drexel, she says, strengthened her belief in herself and prepared her for a career both as a teacher and a businesswoman and a philanthropist. Patty has been a trustee here at Drexel since 1995. And that brings me to my old friend, Bob Wexler, class of 2013, whom I've known since childhood. Wex, as we called him, left college in 1966, a year after he started. But at age 49, already a successful home builder, Bob decided it was time for him to pursue that elusive college degree. Over the course of the next 16 years, going to Drexel at night, Bob earned his degree. He mastered classes in physics, chemistry, calculus, and English. And he says they were beyond his wildest dreams. With professors like Maureen Breen, Bob was also inspired to give back to the community. Encouraged by Professor Breen, Bob joined the board of the Women's Community Revitalization Project, which provides low-cost housing for abused women. And there, his home building skills and his construction experience enhanced their work. Hearing Carl Dranoff talk about his Drexel professors reinforced my belief that every one of you should identify and retain a mentor at your first job and in every job thereafter. In my case, that person was Gene Roberts, a native of Goldsboro, North Carolina, who became editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer in October 1972. Gene subsequently led the Inquirer to 17 Pulitzer Prizes over the next 18 years. Under Gene's tutelage, I learned the importance of writing stories that were accurate, thorough, and fair. I also learned the value of sprinkling those stories with what he would say in his North Carolinian drawl, color, quotes, and anecdotes. But most importantly, I learned the importance of freedom of speech and freedom of the press, and why the First Amendment is so central to our democracy. It is the press, and by press I mean newspapers, radio, TV, and websites, that provide the stories and the analyses that help us evaluate candidates for public office and the performance of those we've elected. And those stories, in turn, help us make informed choices when we vote. This year, when we're having a presidential election, the stakes could not be higher. So please make sure to take an active role in learning everything you can about issues of importance. These days, we are literally bombarded with information, some of it accurate, some of it propaganda, and some of it just out-and-out poppycock, fiction, lies. So it's essential that you do everything possible to get the facts. My strong advice is to read broadly, read deeply, and read skeptically. It's my mantra. Read broadly, read deeply, and read skeptically. If you read an editorial in a conservative publication like the Wall Street Journal, make sure to read an opinion piece on the same subject in a more liberal publication like the Philadelphia Inquirer or the New York Times. But always make sure to master the two poles of the possible truth. Examine issues from both sides. Above all, make sure to vote. Your participation is the lifeblood of our democracy. In closing, I have a request for each and every one of you, the newly minted class of 2020. As you celebrate your graduation today, please think about a Drexel professor, a coach, or a staff member who has enriched your life over the last 4 or 5 years. And then, sometime today, take the time to write that person a letter, an old-fashioned snail mail, thanking them for what they've done for you. I guarantee that in the long run, this will enhance their lives and enrich your own life too. With that, I offer you my heartfelt congratulations and applause. Thank you very much.
Hello once again to everyone gathered with us for this virtual celebration. As president of Drexel University, it is now my special honor and deep privilege to confer degrees upon candidates for graduation from the following colleges and schools: the Pennoni Honors College, the Charles D. Close School of Entrepreneurship, the Goodwin College of Professional Studies, the Dana and David Dornsife School of Public Health, the School of Biomedical Engineering, Science and Health Systems, the School of Education, the College of Computing and Informatics, the College of Arts and Sciences, the Antoinette Westphal College of Media Arts and Design, the College of Nursing and Health Professions, the College of Engineering, and the Bennett S. LeBeau College of Business. by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Drexel University under the charter issued by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and upon the recommendation of your faculty, I confer upon you the doctoral, master's, or bachelor's degree to which you are entitled, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Congratulations to all of the 2020 Drexel University graduates.
Congratulations to all of the 2020 Drexel University graduates.
Congratulations, class of 2020!
Yeah! Drexel 2020!
We finally made it.
We are so proud of your resilience.
I welcome you to the Alumni Association.
You worked hard for many years and it's finally being rewarded.
We wish you all the best.
This is your moment.
Congratulations, Drexel 2020 class.
Lucky, Naira, and Tinko wish you much happiness in the future.
Cheers to Drexel's class of 2020.
Cheers!
Cheers to the Drexel class of 2020.
We salute you. Cheers to the class of 2020.
You did it. Cheers.
Go Dragons!
Cheers! Cheers to you, class of 2020. You are now forever dragons.
Forever Dragons.
Forever dragons.
Go Dragons.
You are now forever dragons.
Congratulations. Go Dragons.
Cheers.